Thanks for tuning into No Wine in No Time. I'm your host Dave, and today I'm so excited to take you back to the birthplace of wine, and that is the Republic of Georgia in the former Soviet Union. Now, the Republic of Georgia lies in an area where Europe meets Asia. It's on the Black Sea, and it borders Russia to the north, Azerbaijan to the east and the south, and directly south of the Republic of Georgia is the countries of Armenia and Turkey. Now, the winemaking in this particular region lies in the east, in a valley that is in the shadow of the Caucasus Mountains. Most notably, we look at a place called Kakheti for wine production in this area. Now, in 6000 BC, wine production occurred in this area, and archaeologists are not sure whether it occurred by accident or on purpose, but they can tell from looking at stains on ancient clay pots that this particular civilization not only produced the world's first wine, but also figured out a way to domesticate grapes and also talk about and pass down the tradition of winemaking from generation to generation. So what was some of this evidence? Let's think back to the original mode of production. The ancient Georgians would bury things in ancient clay pots, things called kevries. And then these kevries, they would put in everything from meats, cheeses, fruits, things they wanted to last for long periods of time. Archaeologists believe that probably by accident, when they were unearthing these kevries and pulling fruit out of them, they realized that fermentation had taken place. They were probably sitting around saying, hey, I kind of like this stuff. It makes me feel a little bit funny. Let's find a way to produce that again and again and again. And the birthplace of wine started in that particular area. Interestingly enough, if we fast forward the clock 8,000 years, wine production is still done in the same method in the Republic of Georgia. These large underground clay pots called kevries, the grapes, the pomace, the skins, the seeds, everything is placed in there. And of course, as fermentation takes place, the wine produces itself. Some of these kevries are kept sealed for years and years and years at a time. So wines that are produced in the Georgian style, while some can be sweet, some can be dry, they almost all are very, very tannic because of the long duration of skin in contact with the wine itself. It really is a fascinating ancient tradition that still exists to this day. So when we start to look at what are some of the varietals in ancient Georgia, there's about 400 of them that I'm sure, myself included, all of us have never heard of. But there's two that I'd like to highlight, and they're kind of the most important grapes in that area. On the white wine side, there's one called Mtsvane. And Mtsvane produces a fruity wine that actually has a little bit of menthol or mint type of flavor to it. And then on the red side, we have an ancient grape called Saperavi. And Saperavi is actually going to be the focus of what we taste today. So let's take a look at the wine we have today. This is one that comes to us from Chateau Mtsvane. Mtsvane is 100% Saperavi, and this particular one is a 2014 vintage. This was produced in the traditional kevri style, but then once the wine was unearthed, it was placed in oak for a given period of time prior to bottling and making its trip to where I purchased it here in the United States. So let's go ahead and take a look at this wine. The first thing we expect from Saperavi wine is an extreme amount of phenolic content. What I mean by that is this wine is dark purple. It's almost bordering on black. There's no transparency to it whatsoever, and that's because of the long, extremely long, extended extraction period. We're pulling all of the tannins and phenolic compounds that we can out of the Saperavi skins while this wine is being made. If we swirl to liberate some of the aromas, we get some aromas of grilled meats. I get some minerality that actually kind of manifests itself as almost like an earthy forest floor or underbrush type of aroma. And also get a little raisiny type of aroma. Now let's go ahead and taste this particular wine. A Saperavi wine packs quite a punch. This is a full-bodied wine, loaded with tannins, and tannins tend to be the star of the show, and because of that, this is a wine that can age for decades, and it just gets more and more beautiful. Now let's focus on what exactly we're tasting, not just the sensation of the tannins. What we can kind of taste here is almost a core of black cherry, and I get a little bit of almost like a eucalyptus around the edges, and a little bit of plummy bordering on raisin type flavors. A lot of that comes from that traditional method of vinification and the fact that they're still producing wine in the same method that they did 8,000 years ago. It really is a beautiful reflection on the lineage of wine and a great tribute to those that have come before us and either by mistake or on purpose produced the first fermented grape juice. So I'm going to enjoy a little bit more of this Mtsvane. Thanks so much for tuning in, and we look forward to seeing you next time, because soon you'll know wine in no time.